Good, good. Yeah.
לחיים, 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 טובים לחיים, לחיים.
Oy
לחיים, לחיים. Oy לחיים, טובים ולשלום.
Amen.
What happened? No, I'm thinking. It's drinking. Tonight's a drinking night. Yeah, it's just terrible. It's perfect. It is what it is. Yeah.
To both say a good Erev Shabbos. As Baruch Hashem to be able to come together on Erev Shabbos, Kodesh Yisrael, to learn together, to grow together. Thank you to all of our sponsors this evening. Thank you to Tzav Friedman for dedicating the Shir Festival chaburah. You know, it's an incredible opportunity for us to express our collective hakar satov to Tzvi. Each and every week, making it so beautiful, so delicious, so incredible. And this week, Tzvi is a sponsor in honor of Menachem Schoenfeld and the Schoenfeld Mishpacha for all they do for the shul. Beautiful. We thank you to Fran and Adam David Edelman in honor of Adam David's 62nd birthday. Kinai Nahara. Right. And a drama-free move to the new shul building in Meretz Hashem. Halavai. Yaakov Mechane Peral Ben Zaken, in honor of Steve Galaskov and his Kala Jordana, wishing them much hatzlacha for Refuah Shalema to Rachel Bas Leah and Meretz Hashem for the return home of all of our people. Yehuda Buchwalter, in honor of the Chanukas Habayis, Shkoyach, and David Barron in the merit of Hansi Venik, Chanu Yisrael, and his family's support at the shul. Incredible. We thank you to all of our sponsors, and a special thank you. Reb Steve is in Eretz Yisrael, but before he went to Eretz Yisrael, he made sure to get everything for us, Baruch Hashem, to make sure that we were stocked there. Tremendous shkoyach to Reb Eli. Just whenever he walks into the room, you could see the musical notes just trailing behind. It's just so beautiful, such is Horus. And I will say it's overwhelming. It's tonight. Baruch Hashem is our last year here in this Mikdash Ma'at as a Meretz Hashem. B'Shat Tov Mitzlachos on Sunday we'll be making our move over to our new Mikdash Ma'at, which is a little more gadol than this Mikdash Ma'at, Baruch Hashem. But it's always important. Sometimes also we forget that Hakara Satov is not just like a din. It's not just a din. It's not just a halacha. Gratitude is not just a din by people. It's also a din in objects. If something serves you, that's why I have a concept of like Bal Tashchis. You can't unnecessarily destroy things. You have to have respect for things, especially for things which serve you. And so there's plenty we could say about the aged nature of this Beis HaKnesses. But Baruch Hashem, the amount of Torah that's been learned within these walls, and the amount of Shira that's happening inside these walls, and the amount of Kirvas Elokim, closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's been engendered within these walls, and the amount of just Avas Chinam and Devekos and Achtos that's been created within these walls requires us to have tremendous Hakar Satov, not just to the people who fill this place, but also to the Makom itself. Well, we'll talk more about that on Shabbos and Meretz Hashem, in celebrating our last Shabbos here. I will say just before we get to the shir, I think the thing that's on all of our minds these days is the hostage deal that Rabbi Yaakov told me was officially just signed, the hostage deal. And I think understandably so, we find ourselves trying to figure out what exactly to feel. We know that it would be foolish to think that there's actually a good faith agreement with a terror organization, right? None of us are so foolish to think that there's anyone credible sitting on the other side of the table, or that there's anyone who's going to keep their word on the other side of the table. We'd be foolish. I don't think anyone involved in this thinks that in any way. So there is an impossible choice to be made. To bring precious Jews home, potentially at the cost of sacrificing certain military objectives, at the cost of potentially chas v'shalom, cheapening the sacrifice of all of the soldiers who have given themselves over al Kiddushas Hashem, who have literally sacrificed their lives on the altar of Kiddush Hashem Ha'am V'Ha'aretz. So what's the right choice? So I'm not. You can speak to Azriel Miller. He could give you the analysis. He can give you the analysis on it. I'm not going to give you the analysis. Because I'll tell you one thing. As I get older, I come to find something interesting. You know, when we're young, we kind of think that we have to have like an answer to everything. Right? I have to understand everything, and I have to have a mahalach in everything. And I think as we get older, we recognize that I don't have to have an answer to everything. And the truth is, I don't have to have an explanation for everything. So what's right? What's right? Is the right thing to sign the deal, not sign the deal? You know, Chaver, the truth is, to a certain degree, first of all, we're 6,000 miles away. And to be honest, we don't have skin in the game. We don't have skin in the game. So it's easy to be an armchair quarterback, and it's easy to go ahead and tell everybody what they should do. Halavai, one day when we uproot our lives and we move to the other side, and we move to Eretz Yisrael, so Meretz Hashem, then we'll be entitled to much more of a say. So I don't think this is an issue for us in terms of what should be done or what shouldn't be done. We can each have our own opinions, of course. But I think for us, the shaila is, what should we experience? And what should we feel? And I'll tell you what I think to myself is like this. The notion that at least for 33 of our brothers and sisters, this will be their last Shabbos in captivity. And then Amir Hashem comes Sunday, hopefully B'Shat Tov Mitzlachos, or I don't know, maybe even earlier, that they'll be reunited with their families. That's a simcha. Right choice, not right choice, no idea. No idea. But the notion that shivuyim, that captives, that beautiful men, women, children, hopefully children, will Amir Hashem be reunited with their families, is just something that we just have to say inside. Hodu Hashem ki tov ki li'olam chasta. We believe that the Ribono Shel Olam leaves no one behind. And although there are still many more to go ahead and bring home, but at least hopefully this is the first concrete step to bringing them all home. So whatever one feels about the particular deal, should be done, shouldn't be done, we just have to kind of take a step back and just say, Ribono Shel Olam, thank you. It's been such an overwhelming 457 days of overwhelming pain and loss and suffering. And even with the deal, it doesn't undo the loss, the pain, and the suffering. But at least, it'll hopefully be 33 new rays of light that will Amir Hashem be showered upon Klal Yisrael. And for that, we just have to have Hakaras HaTov. So both say, just in some way, you know, as a Yid, when you have Hakaras HaTov, so just to say thank you is not enough. Hakaras HaTov also always requires action. So I think now is a good time also to think about, how do we want to express our Hakaras HaTov to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? How do we want to express it? And everybody should take on their own little Kabbalah for the Hakaras HaTov. Maybe it's davening with a little bit more Kavanah. Maybe it's being nicer to your spouse, spending more time with your kids, learning a little more Torah, whatever you're going to do. But to say, Ribono Shel Olam, ayim makir tov, for what you are doing for our people. And I choose to express my Hakaras HaTov in something tangible. And maybe if the Hakaras HaTov is intense enough, and the Hakaras HaTov is tangible or palpable enough, then maybe Amir Hashem, that'll bring home the next wave. And that if that level wave of Hakaras HaTov is palpable and strong enough, that it'll bring home the next wave. We say every single day, Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam, Matir Asurim. We thank Hashem for freeing captives. We thank Hashem for freeing those who are incarcerated. We are going to be Zoch Amir Hashem to hopefully see in just a couple of days' time beautiful Jewish neshamas that are going to go from captivity to freedom. And for that, no matter what you feel about the deal, but for that, we must express our tremendous Hakaras HaTov to the Ribono Shel Olam in a meaningful, palpable way. And Halavai, Meretz Hashem, we should just be Zocha to see them all come home. We should just be Zocha, Meretz Hashem, to express our Hakaras HaTov to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for the miracles He performs for our people, for the miracles He performs for us as individuals, and then the schus of concrete Hakaras HaTov, that Ribono Shel Olam should continue to give us things to be Makir Tov for. He should continue to shower us with bracha, for which we can have gratitude. And Halavai, the little bits of bracha here, the little bits of bracha there, should all combine to Meretz Hashem form the greatest bracha of all. the bracha of Mashiach, the bracha of Gulam Hira B'Yameinu. Amen. We'll see. Let's spend a little bit of time with the Rebbe. Right? The good part about the Rebbe. I'm sorry. Thank you. Sheets for anyone who needs sheets. Thank you. So we'll say. So we're continuing in Eretz Hashem. I think we actually began this piece a little bit last week. Some really profound and overwhelming piece over. So in Lametes, the Rebbe writes the following. He says, "Hayitzi Eitzel Asher Bal Chomos." Listen to this story. Listen to this. Right? The Rebbe says as follows. So the Rebbe says like this: Hayisi Eitel Bal Asher Bal Choma. I was spending some time with a very wealthy man. Very wealthy man. Bal Choma means like of real stature. And this guy had so much parnasa with no struggles, right? Halavai by each of us, right? So much parnasa, so much money, he had no idea what to do with it. And again, the nice part about it is he didn't really have to struggle. I was saying, there are people like this, right? There are people like this who they make a lot of money and they seem to work very little. Very little. There are, right? Remember again, I will say, there are people who work very hard and don't make a lot of money, and then there are people who work very little and somehow do make a lot of money. Okay. So this guy was a guy who worked a lot, worked very little, made a lot of money. Dagos achiros gam kein lo matzas yetzna. The Piaget says, and I knew this guy, and Imamish had no problems. Just like, can you imagine like this? A person, no problems, right? No parnasa problems, no shalom bayis problems, no health problems, nothing. No friend problems, no social, no problems. Everything was good. Everything was perfect. He says, when it came to material things, physical things, he lacked for nothing. And again, listen to this, I will say. When it came to his spirituality, listen to the lashon over here. He felt that nothing was deficient. Now I will say, if you notice the interesting over here, he says, when it came to material things, he literally lacked for nothing. And when it came to spiritual things, he felt like he lacked for nothing. Now, generally, spiritually, when you feel like you lack for nothing, that is an incredible indicator that what? You lack almost everything. I would say spiritual contentment is like the flat line of spirituality. If you're like, hey, I'm okay where I am, I'm pretty comfortable where I am, that's a flat line. There's no pulse. There's no pulse. In other words, we often think that like it's Avera, that's no pulse. It's not true. Avera is good. Allow me to clarify, right? In other words, what I mean, Avera is good. Avera, at least, we spoke about this before. No, don't leave, right? I'll let you perked up for that one, by the way. So what does it mean Avera is good? Avera at least is movement. You're doing something. You're doing something, right? Okay, it's wrong direction movement, but wrong direction movement is better than no movement at all. Staying in place, right? Just like carving out for yourself like a lane to live in and just staying there and never advancing your spiritual agenda. So that's the death knell. That's the death knell of spirituality. So this guy, so materially, he mamish lacked for nothing. Spiritually, he thought he lacked for nothing, which Piaget is already telling us he lacked a lot. Listen to this. Piaget says, but there was one thing that bothered this guy. What was the one thing that bothered him? The guy said, I have so much free time. This was his problem. I've got so much free time. Right? In other words, again, remember, he has no problems with parnasa. Sorry, plenty of time. Parnasa doesn't have to work so much. He felt like spiritually he lacked for nothing. So he had all of this time on his hand. And the big shaila was, again, it was difficult. What do I do with all of this time? Right? It goes on. I'm sorry, good. So what did this guy do? He used to schmooze. He's a schmoozer. And why did he schmooze? To pass the time. To pass the time. So he would talk with this one, he would talk with that one, this family member, that family member, this friend, that one, right? There are people who are always, like, just always talking. So this guy always talking, but again, his kavana was to go ahead and pass the time. Mira Hayali, listen to this. So the Piaget, whenever I met this guy, he always reminded me of the following mashal. Al yidei sheba'olam hazeh shahaisa beguf balagala hitzila shtei nefashos mi'isra mimisa. So what happened? So the Piaget said that you were going to see his grandfather used to tell him, his father-in-law used to tell him this story, that it was the neshama who was zocha, who was privileged to get Gan Eden, a beautiful portion of the world to come. Now, why did this guy get Gan Eden? He was a wagon driver. And when he was a wagon driver, he saved 2 people's lives. Now that's big. Saving one life, right, is tremendous. This wagon driver, he went ahead and he saved 2 lives. And as a result, he was given a beautiful portion of the world to come. So what happened? Here was the problem. The problem is the guy died, but he was an Am Haaretz. Am Haaretz means totally unlearned. Totally unlearned. And I will say, when a person is unlearned, they can't appreciate the greatness of certain spiritual things. We know this, right? In other words, I will say, learning Torah is not only something that is necessary in order to know what to do and what not to do in Yiddishkeit. But when a person learns Torah, what they're doing is sometimes you have to tune an instrument, right? Because if you don't tune it, then the music can't come out. Some people can make music no matter what, right? I'll say, but most regular musicians have to tune to make sure, right? And if it's not tuned the right way, it's not going to. Torah tunes the neshama. That's what Torah does. So when I learn Torah, I'm tuning my neshama. And when you tune your neshama, then you're able to understand things in life. If you don't learn Torah, you have an untuned soul. What can you do with an untuned soul? What can you do with an untuned soul? You know what an untuned soul is? An untuned soul is like a child banging on a piano, right? It creates, all the keys are there. Everything is there to create a beautiful melody. But what comes out is just a cacophony, like one big headache. An untuned soul is like a kid banging on the piano. It makes notes, but the notes don't combine to create anything substantive. So what happened? So this guy dies, the Balagala dies. He's got a beautiful palatial estate in Gan Eden. What's the problem? Now, because he was a wagon driver, so what happened? What's the major utensil of a wagon driver? What does he need? Kind of is good to know. What does he need?
Horse.
A whip. Oh, horse, true. A whip, right? You got a little, whatever, not a shot. It's like, there's another word for it, right? Crop?
Rains?
CROP?
Yeah.
Good, crop. Sorry, I didn't know you were raising. I have to say it so condescendingly. How am I supposed to know that? Okay, good. Like I was saying, a crop. Thank you. Okay, apparently everyone knows that but me. Fine. So what happens? So the guy comes into Gan Eden because he's a balga, he's a wagon driver, and he comes with his crop. Now, what was the crop in Gan Eden? What the crop was there to do, I can't say crop, a whip, right? What the whip was there to do was to take him wherever he needs to go. That, right? Same way when he was in this world, he has the whip and he can whip the horse and it goes wherever he wants. So he gets to, again, he saves 2 people, he gets Gan Eden, he's now in Gan Eden, and so to speak, they give him like a celestial wagon. And he could go wherever he wants in Gan Eden. What happened? What was the problem? The wagon driver didn't understand how to appreciate the beautiful mansion in Gan Eden. So what is he doing? He's just whipping his celestial horse and just wandering from place to place to place to place. And the malachim, the angels, are looking at him like, you're crazy. Do you see what you have over here? Do you see what you have? You have this beautiful palatial estate, but because the guy was unlearned and didn't understand, he didn't appreciate the beautiful gift in the afterlife that he had. So what is he doing? He's hitting the celestial horses, just going from place to place, wandering all around, never really enjoying his Gan Eden because he didn't understand it. So the Piaget said, this wealthy guy reminded him of this mashal. Here this guy has everything. He's got money. He's got, no problems with parnasa. No other problems in the world. What's his biggest problem? Too much time on his hands. Too much time. You know what you could do with time? If you have no other challenges, no other problems in the world, what you could do with all of that time? But it's like the wagon driver. He gets to Gan Eden and is given the palatial estate. He doesn't know what to do with it. This guy didn't know what to do with the gift of time. Ish, sheyesh lo zman u'penai shekol rega mamish Gan Edenu. So the Rebbe says, this is beautiful. It says any person who has free time is Gan Eden. Incredible. Free time in and of itself is Gan Eden. The ability to have time at your disposal to do with what you want to do with it, the Rebbe says that's Gan Eden. How much could a person accomplish in every single hour of free time? And this guy, meanwhile, page Shin Pei Aleph, meanwhile, again, now I want to point out, to the credit of this guy, he wasn't doing Averus, right? He wasn't doing Averus. So what was he doing? It's the phrase that hurts me the most when people say, what was he doing? What was he doing?
Just chilling.
Killing time.
Just chilling.
Killing time. Right? Even just chilling is not so bad. I still don't know what it means exactly, right? But Lamais, again, killing time.
Chilling is a state of existence.
Is it? You're chilled?
No. When someone says, I'm just chilling.
I'm just chilling.
It's a
state. The G is silent.
Yeah.
The G is silent. Okay. Got it. Got it. So that's
killing of
so that's when someone busts your chill.
But
when someone busts your chill, you're no longer chilling. You're no longer chilling. Got it. Okay. I'm learning so much tonight. This is incredible. So you could take a crop, bust someone's chill, and then they're no longer chilling. Got it. Okay. Just use it in a sentence. Fantastic. So now this guy is literally he's just killing time. Again, it's not like the pshat that like he picked up some bad habits and he's got all the money at his disposal and he's doing all this and doing all that. Not even any of that. He's just killing time. Schmoozing with this one, schmoozing with that one, talking, just killing time. So look what the Rebbe says. Listen to this. Mamish kinesi bizmano. The Rebbe said, I was jealous of his time. So as you hear this, now I want to just point out, remember, you're not allowed to be jealous, right? Remember again, it's one of the 10 Commandments, lo sachmod, right? You're not allowed to covet. You're not allowed to be jealous of what someone else has. But the Rebbe said, I can't help it. I was jealous of all of his free time. Look what he writes. The Rebbe says, Lu haya yachal lechonin osi v'lindar b'shvili al kolpanim arba sha'os b'me'es le'es. I wish this guy could gift me 4 hours every day. If he could give me 4 of his, what is he doing with his 4 hours? Absolutely nothing. If he could give me 4 of his hours every day, listen to this. V'yagdil es yomi ad esrim u'shmona sha'os. And then I could turn my day into a 28-hour day. The Rebbe says, what I could do with an extra 4 hours. Kiaz, and the Rebbe says, we both be happy. Kiaz samachnu yachad. Hu haya niftar me'arba sha'os betelim hamu'usin alav. This guy would be able to offload 4 hours that are just like killing him, right? How do I fill this time? See, he'd be able to offload 4 hours that are just empty and that he's struggling to fill. V'ani nisashati b'chelek Gan Eden zeh. And I would have 4 more hours. 4 more hours in my day, that's Gan Eden. More time to do what I want to do, that's Gan Eden. So we both be happy. But what's this one say? Aval. Lamali les avos lazman shalo. But the Rebbe says, in reality, why should I desire his time? Zman rik kazeh. Liolam shel tov avo she'en bo lo hargasha v'lo hasaga. I don't want his time. Why? Because this guy's time, it's tainted. His time itself is tainted. Right? His time is spent ultimately, again, it's empty. It's empty. It's tovavo, astonishingly empty. There's no feeling. There's no understanding. Lo nefila v'lo aliyah chareh. There's no downfalls and there's no ascension. Right? There's no descent. There's no ascent. There's nothing. Chayim shel kol hatashuka va'onik ba ein rak le'is ha'uchel. All this guy looks forward to. What does he look forward to? His next meal. Buying his next thing. So the Rebbe says, I said, at first I wanted his time. If I could just have 4 hours of his time added to my day, I'd have 28-hour day. Be gewaldig. Then I don't want his time. This guy's time, his construct of time, is tainted. Because you could taint time. And therefore I don't want his time. Va'im lo sivchal nafshi b'istakla b'zom shal tov avo shal hazeh. The Rebbe says something amazing. Both say it's beautiful. Valama, then the Rebbe says, listen to this. So both say, remember, what's beautiful about Tzav v'Zeirus is this is like the Rebbe's most inner thoughts. So you see over here the Rebbe's working through this, right? So watch the progression. He meets this guy. The guy has everything. What's this guy's problem? Too much time on his hands. So what is he doing? He's just wasting it, blowing through it, schmoozing through it, sleeping through it, whatever. So then the Rebbe says, okay, this is Givaldik. Let's do a transfer. I'll do a transfer. You give me 4 hours. This guy would be relieved not to have 4 hours that he has to fill. What I could do, the Rebbe says, with 4 hours. And the Rebbe says, no, I can't do that because I don't want his time. Because his time is tainted. His time is compromised. His time is vacuous. So what do I do, says Rebbe? Listen to this. The Rose is incredible. And this is the moment of introspection, reflection, and profound personalistic honesty. The Rebbe says, but in reality, why am I looking to acquire someone else's time? Ve'eneni mabit bizman hapanoi sheli. Why don't I look at my own free time? So what the Rebbe is saying is, as much as it would be nice to say that I utilize all of my time wisely, it's not true. It's not true. I have free time also. There's plenty of time in my day that I could be using in a better way. Kia'im, listen to what he writes. Kia'im, i'efshar kvar lekamitz mizman hashena sheli. Maybe I could sleep a little less. Let's say this is very profound stuff. Maybe I could sleep a little less. All of us want to sleep a little more, right? But lemaisa, maybe I could sleep a little less. Maybe I can. Maybe I could just push myself just a little bit harder, take away a little bit of time from my sleep. And again, use that for something. Sleep is purposeful also, but use it for something else that is dynamic in nature. And Rose says sometimes free time doesn't have to come in blocks of hours, but sometimes free time could come in blocks of minutes. Don't I have time here and there? Right? Don't I have a few minutes here, a few minutes there? Built in your gashim shalzman batala she'efshar lechabram lizman echad mesuyam. And if I pull together just like the stray minutes here and the stray minutes there and combine them into a block, there's a significant amount of time that's there. There really is a significant amount of time. And there's time to really accomplish great things. So I'll say, this to me is such an incredible piece because I think so many of us struggle with maximizing our time, either because we don't have good time management or we don't necessarily know how to prioritize certain things. And one of the most frustrating things that exists is when you can't accomplish the things you want to accomplish. Now, sometimes it's legitimately just because there's too much going on. And other times it's because I'm really not using my time wisely. I'm not. Either I'm allocating time resources in the wrong places, or maybe I'm just giving too much to different things. So like David says, maybe I can sleep a little less. Maybe my meals don't have to take as long. We all need to relax, but maybe my period of relaxation doesn't have to be as long as it currently is. Again, maybe it does. But this is where the reflection and introspection begins. And the Rebbe says, if I engage in this analysis, this time inventory, what I'm able to realize is there's time. There really is time. And there's more time than I even realize. And there's other time that I could take that's being occupied by other things that are not as essential, and I could use them for more essential activity. Tichbad, this is incredible. Tichbad ha'avoda al atzmecha v'timtza zman ba'asamecha. Well, I just want to show you something ridiculously amazing. Tichbad ha'avoda, sounds familiar? It's this week's parsha. It's this week's parsha. At the end of the parsha, when Moshe Rabbeinu comes and tells Paro, let my people go, right? Shlach ami v'yavduni. What does Paro say? 2 words. Tichbad ha'avoda. Tichbad ha'avoda. You have time to think about freedom? If you have time to think about freedom, you're obviously not working hard enough. Work harder. So I said, this is incredible. So the Rebbe says, that Paro was onto something. He was onto something. Sometimes the right mantra in life is tichbat havoda. Work harder. Work harder. Who says that life? We speak about this all the time. We'll say, one of the most detrimental and erroneous mindsets that we have, like in Western culture, is that life is supposed to be relaxing, and this idea that I'm supposed to be at ease. I'm supposed to be calm, right? I'm supposed to, and it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. A, because it's almost impossible, and B, because no, actually, what I'm supposed to be, I was like, okay, I'm not supposed to be anxious, Ranish, but I am supposed to be pushed. I'm supposed to be pushed, and I'm supposed to feel a little bit of a pit in my stomach because I can't get through all the stuff I need to get through. I'm supposed to live life with a sense of urgency. I'll tell you something amazing. I'll tell you what the Rebbe is teaching us, without even saying it explicitly. The Rebbe will say, in general, when you come to these parashos of Shmos, there is so much detail in this parasha about what Paro said to Moshe, Moshe said to Paro, the servitude, this, that. By the way, you could have consolidated the entire parasha into 2 lines, right? What was the parasha? The Egyptians enslaved the Jews. It was really bad. God brought 10 plagues. Here they are, and then the Egyptians let us go. Right? That's the whole story. That's the whole story. We got a shul a lot earlier also, right? That's the drasha would still be just as long. But I'm saying, but the parasha would be right. That's that long, right? That's the whole story. That's the whole story. Whenever the Torah could have said something in shorthand, but instead says it in a much longer fashion, it's because there are lessons there. So do you know why it says the Piagetz? Do you know why? Paro, as evil as he was, had certain hashkafas that were correct. That mantra of tichbat ha'avoda, work harder, do more. The goal is not to lighten the load. The goal is to make it heavier each and every day. Do more, carry more, accomplish more, be more. Okay, of course, we all need times to relax. We all need times for vacation. Of course, that's built in. That's Chosh Baruch created Shabbos, all that's all built into the system. But the Rebbe says, listen to this, Tichbad Avoda, if you push yourself hard, Timtza Zman Ba'asamecha, you'll find time in your storehouse. Essentially what the Rebbe says is like this, it's really incredible. I know what I'm saying. Sometimes we don't take on certain things because we don't have time. What the Rebbe is suggesting is sometimes the best way to find time is to take on the objective. Take it on, and you'll find the time. Sometimes a person has to push themselves to work harder, and only after that push is a person really able to find that in fact the time that they were looking for was there the whole time. You might have to pull it from here. You might have to take it from here. You might have to stop doing something, start doing something. But the time to work harder is always there. But again, the secret is take on the responsibility, tichbat ha'avoda, and then you will find the time subsequently to go ahead and accomplish. Let's just start Mem. We'll do one line and then we'll stop for tonight. So that's Lamites. We'll say a really profound idea. So the two takeaways from here. Number one, don't kill time. That's number one, right? Number two, which is a pretty obvious lesson, right? Number two, what you do with your time has a fundamental impact on the nature of your time, right? The Rebbe teaches us, this guy, the rich guy, tainted time. He tainted his time because at the end of the day, he didn't use it wisely. Number three, don't covet someone else's free time. Find your own. How do you find your own time? So sometimes there's a time inventory, looking how I'm utilizing my time. And I will say, live a life of tichbat ha'avoda. Don't look to offload responsibility. Don't look to offload life initiatives. Take more on. Do more, be more, and you'll actually find the time to be able to accomplish. Good. Mem, let's at least start it. Actually, I was saying, yeah, fine. Push me. Fine. Mem, just 1 minute. 1 minute we have. So we'll say here, and we're going to continue this more next week, but this is really profound. The Rebbe here in Mem, they always say these are really like Yesodistic ideas. The Rebbe talks about over here, how does one control the Yetzer Hara? This is right. Is this not? This is $1 million question. I have a Yetzer Hara. We all have a Yetzer Hara. It acts up sometimes. It's more dormant. Other times, I have a Yetzer Hara for this and a Yetzer Hara for that. How do I control it? How do I control it? So the first thing that Rebbe says, there is nothing better to control your Yetzer, literally again to intimidate or scare your Yetzer into submission. Yoser tova me'asher shevet musarcha shel atzmecha. So Rebbe says, so the first thing to recognize is, who's in control of your Yetzer? Who's in control? I'm in control. See, I will say, says the Piagetz, sometimes the greatest mistake we make in life is that we think the Yetzer is in control of me. Well, if that's my mindset, then I'm already the victim, right? And once I'm walking around with the victim mentality, I'm already behind the 8 ball. So the thing to remember the Rebbe is, you're not the victim. You're the boss. You're in charge. The Yetzer, it lives inside of you. You don't live inside your Yetzer. And as such, the first step to conquering the Yetzer Hara is ultimately a recognition that I have the ability to do so, and that I have the ability to rule over it. So we'll have to stop over here for tonight. We'll pick up Emir Hashem with this rest of this piece tomorrow. Shkech, we're in Ma'ariv in the main shul. Shkech, everyone.
Finish the scene. Then I was thinking, no, it's better than